Hello, YouTubers. Guys, what's up? So, welcome back to another Cool Time with Blessed. And today we'll be continuing with the AWS PenTesting series. We'll be recording a video to start exploitation. So, what we'll be doing today, we'll be scanning little infrastructure. We will use Nmap, but we can also use tools like Nessus or OpenVAS, but I'm not going to use them because basically their engines are built around the Nmap scripting. So we'll just do from the terminal Nmap. Okay. Then we will find probably some vulnerabilities that we will try to exploit using a framework like Metasploits, or maybe even do a manual exploitation method if time permits me before I have to go to work. So let's jump right into this. Okay, so this is the focus for today. Run automated scan, then exploit instance using Metasploit and manual method. Requirement maybe Nessus and Nmap, but Nessus is not really necessary because we won't do Nessus. Nmap and Metasploit has to be somewhere in the infrastructure, but since we're using Kali Linux, it makes it easier for us to just have Metasploit in there and Nmap. Then I will be showcasing something today that I actually use for my day-to-day job. It's a platform called Hive. We'll be using it for analysis to show how we can analyze our results. I'm sorry about that. Very easy at one pane of glass. Pretty cool stuff. So enough for the chitty-chatting. Let's go do business. All right, so over here, first I need to get the Hive platform ready. So if you visit this page, I'll try to leave this in the description. You'll find the Hive. You can download it out for blue team or red team, but we'll go in red team way. So you just maybe come over here, copy the link, or if you're doing it in your own box, you can just download it there right away if it's your Kali box. But I want to install it on my VPS over here. So I just download the copy link. If I copy the link, I can go over here. You can see I already did that. I created a folder, then used wget just to save time to pull it down. So I have it in there. You can see it in there. If I have to execute it, I would need to change the file permission on it. So chmod should do that for me, plus X. I'm just going to run that on the install file. Okay, then I can install the file using the normal installation method. This is going to take a while, so while this is installing, we will go start up our servers in AWS. So over here in AWS, I'm not sure if I have to log in because I've been out for a while. So but let's check. If we have to, then we'll authenticate, then we will start. I see it's not okay, I think we're good to go. Oh great, we're still in. Okay, that's bad. So we'll have to authenticate. I'll pause this and come back when I'm done authenticating. Okay, so I'm in my account now. We're going to start all the instances because we'll be using all of them. So start with the Kali Linux. I'm going to start it. Then Guacamole, which we'll be using for our Kali. We will start the instance, although we don't really need it, but I'm just going to start it. Ubuntu, we start the instance. Then the Windows server, we will start the instance as well. Okay, so we'll wait for IPs to populate, then we'll just set up a few things. Remember, we're not using static IP, so we may need to grab our Kali IP, which is this, and go put this in our Guacamole settings. I think first we should access the Guacamole server. So let me copy the IP for the Guacamole and go over here and replace it with what I have here because this has been changed. I'm not using a static IP. Well, you can actually request for one, but it's going to cost you some little cheap money. Okay, if you're willing to go that way, you can actually do that. It's not a bad idea. So we should access our Guacamole server, then we should authenticate into it, hopefully. So this is it. Let's authenticate. The username is guacadmin. The password should be your password. Now you can set up two-factor authenticator for this stuff, but I didn't do that yet anyways. So because I'm going to shut it down once I'm done. Over here, I'll have to go to the settings and make some modifications to my connections. If you're using a static IP, you don't have to do this anyways. I'm just showing you because I'm not using one. So over here, I'll copy my Kali IP, which is the new IP, and I'll have to replace that with what I have here. So paste that over here. See, it's different. Okay, the port remains the same, everything else remains the same. I'm going to save this. Then I'm going to do the same for the RDP connection, so I can access it via RDP as well. Everything else should be pretty fine. It's just the IP address has changed. So I'm going to save this as well. Then we will try to access it. We'll go back to home. Then let's try with the SSH first. If we're able to access it. Okay, great. We are able to access SSH. Now I'm going to go back and try with the RDP, see if I can access that as well. If we're able to access it, then let's check our Hive. Okay, our Hive is ready. Oh, pretty cool. So we're going to access a Hive from the Kali Linux because we'll be importing our scan into Hive there. So let's to do that, we'll need the IP address. We need the default username. I'm going to have to change the password before probably even watching this video. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Then that's the default username. Okay, but let's access it from our Kali Linux browser. So I'll need the IP address of this VPS. I'm going to copy that. And okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, that's my Kali Linux. Cancel this then here. Restore session. I think I was doing some stuff. Okay, there's nothing there. Okay, so I'm going to paste that here. Am I allowed to paste? Oh, not allowed. Okay, that's super cool. Alright, so we'll take that IP address, put it in there, then we'll just set up stuff that I'll come back to you guys. Okay, so we've logged into our Hive. You can see that's the IP of the VPS, and we've used the default username and password, and we've changed the password as well. Okay, now we're good to go. Let's get into our task. So to do a quick verification, we'll fall back here just to see if those private IPs are still the same. So we'll verify the private IP for the Kali Linux. We can see it's 31, so it's .31, obviously 26, 63. Remember we had copied this. I'm just going to highlight this, copy this, so we can access these two servers. So if I come to the Ubuntu, I'll go to the security group and see if it remains the same. We had made that modification then, just to be sure we're on the same page, so that we can use the Kali to access it, as well as the Windows. So I think this one is okay. Just a quick verification again. That won't hurt anybody. It's good to do the verification. 2663, that's what we have now for Kali. I'm going to close all this. 2663, we'll add that up, then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so it all looks good. Now let's jump into the Kali and start scanning. So we're going to scan the entire subnets, which we have as being that we already know the IP address 172.31. We will scan that entire subnet. So let's go to our Kali Linux, open up a terminal. I hope this is visible. If it's not, I'll try to zoom in a bit. I'm getting a bit of lag, so let me try and see if I can zoom in. Okay, that's fine. So let's use Nmap. I think I'm just going to sudo into this thing first, so I can just have it all right there, clear the screen. So Nmap, we use tag SV, or maybe tag S. Let's try scene scan, then tag SV, maybe tag, oh, I think I'll just go tag A, then maybe tag scripts vol Then I'll pass all the entire IP, then 172.31.0.0 slash, I'm just going to do a quick verification, do not mind me please. Where is it? Okay, I think you should find it here. .0.0 slash 32. Okay, great. So that's slash 32. Let's scan that entire stuff. I think I should maybe write the outputs. So I'm going to save tag. I think I will have to save it in XML format. So it's ox scan.xml. Okay, let's run that. Then we'll get back to you once this scan is done, so we can import the results into Hive and start in our analysis to find our type vector. Okay, it seems like our scan result is back. Now if I list the content here, we can see there's a scan.xml. Let's go over to Hive and maybe create a new project. We'll call this pen test. I guess that's a good name. Okay, I'll leave everything else the way it is, but you can actually populate this probably the way you want it to go, but just for time's sake, I'm going to OK on that. Then in here I will import file. So I'm going to import Nmap XML. You can import other kinds of file as well, but I'm going for Nmap. You can even import a mass, nuclei, or whatever. So let's browse to where we have this. I think it's in our root directory. I'm going to verify that using the pwd command, home Kali. Okay, so it's in our home Kali directory. So that's it over there. I'm going to import this file. Let me see if there's anything for advanced. Okay, I think this is pretty much it. I will import this, and the Hive will do the analysis and give us a dashboard, so we can now start interacting with. I'm just trying to zoom this up and stretch this a bit so we can have a good view when we start with our analysis. Okay, that's done. Let's wait for this to load. Probably if we'll have something in our project, then we can start analyzing the results from that scan. So it looks like our result is correctly loaded, and we can see from our Hive platform on the host 1600, port 22 is open. That's the Ubuntu host, although we cannot reach port 21. Then on the host 1974, which is the Windows host, we can see 135, 139, 445, 3389, and a couple of these Microsoft RPC ports open. Now the platform is pretty cool because we can actually go maybe do some deep dive analysis on each of them, or maybe we can check the services. We can see the list of services. If that's not okay for us, probably we can maybe check products. We can see there's Microsoft, Windows, there's OpenSSH. Then I'm just showcasing this because I use it for quick dive analysis, and it's pretty easy to walk around to find maybe there's a vulnerability or something. I can go on each of these, see the port states. It's open over there. We can see the states and the port number. Just doing some analysis. I can go to the host name. I can see the host name is appearing over there for the RDP session. Maybe just play around with this on your own, just so you can have that deep dive overview on how the Hive works. Now this, you'll understand the usefulness of this. Maybe you run a scan on a domain with a ton load of resources. That's when you understand the simplicity this gives you and how it can help you probably find a host to go after. Okay, so let's do some analysis on our scan results. Over here we can see for the Ubuntu server, port 21 is open, and we can see right at the moment that it's vulnerable to this particular vulnerability. That's the beauty in Hive. We can just see the results. We grant us a root shell. Okay, then it gives us the Metasploit module that can actually do this. So I think we'll just quickly go try that out as our first attack vector. Let's see if we can exploit this Ubuntu server quickly before we get into the Windows server. Now, if you want to know a bit more details, we can see the backdoor thing happening there. You can probably go read up, follow the exploit reference and go read it up. You understand a bit more details about what it's actually exploiting on the server, which is very critical for you to know. So let's go ahead and exploit this. Over here, we're going to start a Metasploit. I'm going to clear the screen, sudo su msf console. Let's start Metasploits. Then let's go search for VSFTPD. If there are any current exploits, that is backdoor, that we can use. But already we can see right here, it gives us that Metasploit reference. So it makes it easier for us to actually do. But let's I just want to showcase how to use the search functionality in Metasploit. So we can search for VSFTPD and we can see it's just that one module there. So I'm going to copy this because I want to use it. We can see it's excellent and it's quite legacy 2011. So we're going to paste that there. Now we can see it's going to give us a CMD Unix interact shell. I think that's pretty much okay for us to just showcase because we're not going to be doing any post exploitation at the moment. We just want to show how you can do this in your own lab environment and practice while you're learning. So over here I can type options. Options should give me an idea of what I need to set. By default it's on port 21. I just need to set the arrow host. So the remote host should be the Ubuntu server's IP, which is this. So I'm going to set arrow hosts. Now pass 172.31.16.100 and that's it. Now if we run this thing, we should get a shell if all things go pretty smooth. Just as we can see, the roots found the root backdoor shell, and it should give us that shell. We should be able to interact. You can see command shell session 1 open. Now we should be able to interact with that session if we probably type command like maybe is it already open? Oh, it's open. So we can use our default which let's see if Python is installed on this server. There's not results. Okay, so we'll try that again. Maybe Python 3 this time around. Okay, Python 3 is in. So Python 3 tag. We'll be using the tag C. Let's import pty, then pty.spawn. Let's see if we can use this to spawn a bean bash shell. If that works out for us, we should get a bash shell. Oh, sorry, my keyboard. Then I'm going to wrap this close and see. I think I made a nasty mistake there. Python 3 tag C. Okay. Imports pty. Just give me a second. My keyboard is actually acting out. Okay, I wasn't getting this symbol on my keyboard. I don't know, semicolon. I'm not sure why that was actually happening. pty.spawn. Then we'll pass this over to a bean bash shell. Then we'll wrap this and close this. So you see we got a bash shell on the Ubuntu. ID, we are roots, uname, just to showcase that A. We can see this is the Ubuntu server. Okay, we've been able to exploit the Ubuntu server. Let's see if we can switch things up and go over to the Windows server. So let's try to analyze the result from the Windows server, which is this. We can see port 21 is open. Unlike that on the Linux, we see this is actually FileZilla server, which I think it's a part of this champ. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that fine. A part of this champ which I started, FileZilla. So, but let's look it up. Let's see. It tried to scan for vulnerability. I'm not sure it found anything useful. But I don't want to go after the FTP server here. I could probably try that for my terminal and see if I can maybe authenticate as an anonymous user. So I'm going to open a new. I can even try from this Ubuntu FTP. As funny as that may sound, that's the 172. The Windows 31.19.74. So let's see. Okay, that doesn't seem to. It's asking for the name. So let's try anonymous. Password empty. Okay, it failed to authenticate. All right, so that's expected. We can pass this over to brute force and see if we can maybe find username. I think even Metasploit has got a module for that, but I'm not showcasing that. Probably you can explore that on your own. But let's look at the next port 80 over there. Couldn't find any cross-site cross-forgery. We'll just look at a bit of other stuff. Possible SQLi for queries. So it's saying the SQLi server, which we had started. If you do remember, over here, I can browse it from here. That's the IP of the Windows, and this is it. So it's saying it. And this is the beauty in using Hive anyways. If you've not used it before, you should try it out. So I can go into details and learn how to exploit this thing. So it's going to show me how this works. But I'm going to save you the time. Maybe leave you to actually read this up and understand the exploit pattern. If there's even Apache there, and there's a possible exploit for Apache as well. So I'm going to save you all that hassle and just go ahead and exploit this, because I'm not going to spare my time trying to go through all this. But if you want to understand how it works, you can always leave a comment. Maybe I can have a one-on-one with you. But if you go through your Hive gives you the attack vector, how to go over this, because from your Nmap scan, which you had passed the script scan, it can give you details on how to exploit that stuff. So let's go over to our terminal, and we'll open a new window, because we want to leave our FTP server running over there just in case we decide to do some fun stuff, which I'm not sure because of my time. Okay, sudo su. Okay, I'm opening up a new terminal. Now I'm going to try to see if I can, from my browser, visit this page, but not just the page, since I know there's an exploitable SQL server here, which I'm actually seeing. Let me see if I can go based on what I found out from Hive. I can look for books. I'm just going to save you that stress. So upon further research, we can see that if I visit this page, I got this error, which is pretty cool. Errors are actually one way to really understand how the database handle or the web application handles stuff. So I can already see that it's revealing stuff to me. My SQLi connects error. It's telling me that sits in the C champ htdocs db connect, and it's also giving me that clear hint that this error is coming out from the fact that I'm not able to execute something. But that gives me an idea that is already a DB there. A good way to analyze this, I'll pass this link over to SQLi and see if SQLi can maybe extract stuff and make it a bit fun for us to understand. So I'm going to copy this link and go to my, I think Kali's got SQLi by default. If it's not installed, maybe I'll try SQLmap. Okay, SQLmap is there. So I'm going to pass the URL, which will be the wrapped URL of what we want to do. So I'm going to put this in a wrapper, and I will run this against to see what I can find. Already it's trying to scan that stuff. Okay, so we can take our analysis further. If we look at each of these possible links, let's take, for instance, we grab this first one, just so we go look at what is actually in there, because it's telling us it's possible SQLi for queries. We could build queries around this stuff. If I paste this here, I can see it's loading index.js. We can look at Wow, there's some cool stuff going on there. Okay, but I'll leave you to play around with this. We can see the bootstrap in the GX. We could scan this against some JavaScript scanning application. I think I've got something like that here, JS, to see if there are any vulnerable libraries or some cool stuff within there that we can build or exploit or attack path around. That's once again the beauty in this. I may have to stop this video here because I have to go out to work. But we can see there's 445. Now we could go try some legacy stuff against 445. Maybe those are probably, I'm not sure if they'll work. Eternal Blue and all the Eternal Romance and all those cool stuff, but I didn't get anything like a detail on their sports, which is a bit worrisome. Maybe 135 MSRPC, 139 SSN. Obviously nothing is coming, but we could scan with Metasploits and see if we probably will find something, or we can just maybe direct an Nmap scan against that host and specify. Let me see if I can open a new tab. I'm going to be closing the video soon. Just want to showcase that we can still do an Nmap. Okay, I think I already did that. I can do 4 ports, 139 I think, and 445. Then we can maybe put a script there, see if we can find something. There's the script vol and the vulners as well. I think I'm just going to use the vuln scripts. Let me see if I'm going to find some exploits. Probably I'll be glad to showcase those stuff, but not today. So thank you for your time. As you can see, we could grab any of these link. Okay, I think it's done. SMB, it tried these exploits, it didn't find any, and that's pretty cool. Although the ports are open, but they're not vulnerable to this. Let me see if I can use the vulner script if it's here. Okay, obviously nothing happened. I think is it vulner? Vulner. I'm not supposed to put an S. Let me try. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I haven't used it in a while. Okay, so but just showcasing that this is not vulnerable to MS-10055, neither vulnerable to MS-10061. But that doesn't mean you can't try the other legacy tool like enum for Linux to do some enumeration. Maybe I should showcase that as a way to wrap up. Enum for Linux, I think it's there. I'm just going to put that A for all that. Then I'll pass the IP address 172.31.19.74. Let's see if it does some check. Obviously, it probably found some random user, but you could go in bit more details and do some SMB enumeration and probably take this and run some brute force against users that you find and see if you can access shares. Okay, thank you once again for your time. I hope you love this content. If you do, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next recording. We'll be doing some EC2 stuff. Okay, thanks, bye bye.